Hello, hello. All right, which deck should I use? Let me think about this for a minute. I was reading a little bit about what the Chief Justice's role is in an impeachment trial, and it mentioned, that Rehnquist was, he oversaw the impeachment trial of Bill Clinton, and then the previous impeachment trial of Johnson, Andrew Johnson in 1868 was overseen by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court at the time, a man whose name was, I kid you not, Salmon P. Chase. Salmon, like the fish. Salmon P. Chase oversaw the impeachment trial of President Andrew Johnson in 1868. Salmon, chasing the salmon. All right, what do I want? This is not a zombie tarot reading. It feels like it's too much. He's not gonna let that kind of chaos reign. That's so often going on in the, let's see. This is the Housewife's deck. This is the Halloween deck. And then good old Rider-Waite. Yeah, Rider-Waite. Let's do Rider-Waite. He's going to be very traditional. As much as tradition can have sway, considering there haven't been that many of them. And while the fact that he is supposed to preside, that Judge Roberts is supposed to preside over what happens, as much as what he's supposed to do is, mentioned in the Constitution, it's not a job he wants. And it says, that he's supposed to be there and he's supposed to do this. It's this much writing. It's not like pages and pages of what he's supposed to do. So, I feel sorry for the guy. The Chief Justice, who is overseeing the impeachment trial in the Senate, has a lot more power than Rehnquist used, because the Chief Justice has power on saying what evidence can be presented, what witnesses can be called. It's just, in general, they don't want to, which I can already tell, and I don't even think you need to be psychic to know that he's not going in there with an agenda to interfere, because there are cases before the Supreme Court that are Trump-related, and he doesn't want to show bias. He has the reputation of the court to protect in general, which he has shown again and again is his priority. And the fact that he doesn't want to drag the name of the Supreme Court and his own name into a whole lot of partisan bickering. He doesn't want the job, but he's supposed to be there, so he will. Rehnquist apparently he actually worked out of an office there so he could continue the work of the court with going over briefs and doing other stuff. And the energy is, to be honest, the energy is a whole lot of not showing how much you're rolling your eyes. And while he's thinking he's gonna go in there and do this, there's going to be a lot of internal eye rolling. Because he's also, he's used to a lot of deference. And he's used to a lot of people, lawyers become famous in arguing cases in front of the court. When he's presiding over something, he's used to that much deference, and boy, this is a whole stinky kettle of fish. So, Chief Justice John Roberts overseeing the impeachment trial. A lot of bickering. We should do this, we should do that. They can't get their story straight, and they can't moving forward and what to go forward with, what evidence to show, what people to call, he's looking down at them doing this. Okay? In the past, honestly, what I'm getting from this is a couple of things. I just wanted a good job. I went to law school because yeah, I wanted to help people, but I wanted a good job. And he was ambitious, but you know, that thing you tell yourself when years and years later and things are going crazy, you know, like this. It's like, you know, I just went to law school because I wanted a good job. But this is also, Republicans are expecting him to fall in line because they're in charge. This I get cups for Democrats, I get pentacles for Republicans, and they're in charge. McConnell's in charge, and this also has a feeling around the edges of, what do you call it, that case where they said that companies or individuals, companies have rights. That case, that they're expecting Roberts to take their side as much as possible. As long as they don't antagonize him too much, they're expecting him to his Republican soul to show. Let's enter the reading. Pelosi. She's not a senator, but goodness, her energy is right there. And if she sees it feels like if she sees a lot of shenanigans in the Senate, she's not going to be quiet. She's not going to be, no. She's going to, do not mess with this woman. Her energy is right there in your face. Face of the reading. Arguing about how they're going to move forward. You know, they're tying themselves into knots, this and that, and they're going to stop the other side. They're going to do this, they're going to cut their nose off to spite their face because it'll stop the Democrats from being able to do something, but other people just want to get this over with, and Trump is yelling that it needs to be over like yesterday, and they kind of need to exonerate him immediately, and there's going to be a lot of interruptions. There's going to be just a whole lot of, it's going to be a show. This is my cruise ship card. It's usually Mar-a-Lago and the Republicans. The Republicans are happy that the Democrats aren't going to get as much talking points and what have you, but it's not going to be a great show because there's going to be a lot of stopping and starting as they argue about things and procedurals. And it's going to be, it feels like it's going to be one of those things where if you could just kind of watch it in the future where they've cut out all the dead air bits, a lot of, watching the news and them cutting back to the anchors and people talking heads to talk about what's happening because they're waiting again and again and again and again. Beating a dead horse, that's what this feels like. Trying to bring up the Ukraine and Biden and just beating a dead horse and protect Trump at all costs, how Trump sees himself. Make sure that Trump is happy. Home environment, lie. That's literally the word that came into my in big letters, lie. Hopes and fears, everybody's fearing chaos because you have Trump and Barr and Giuliani who are causing chaos, and in the Senate they still want to pretend that they're better than the House, that they're not going to be as chaotic, but that's the fear. But McConnell's he still has to side with Trump. He still has to make Trump happy because he can't risk people he's in charge of them being primaried, which weakens them, which means the more likelihood they might lose control of the Senate. The Republicans might lose control of the Senate, and he can't have that, but he has to keep Trump happy. So Trump doesn't turn against Republican senators, but they're just beating a dead horse, and it's just not working. What other people see? Justice. I mean, that is that's what this is. This is an impeachment trial in the Senate. Now, is there actually going to be justice, or is this just him? Is this just Chief Justice John Roberts? Let's see here. What other people see? Exhausting. It's going to be exhausting for him. It's going to be exhausting for everybody, but it's really going to be exhausting for him. But it's going to be over sooner rather than later. They are going to keep it relatively short. I mean, the original, I think, Clinton's trial went on in the Senate for like 5 weeks or something. I'm not feeling that here. I could be wrong, but I'm not feeling that here. Trump wouldn't put up with it. No. So no, this is just him. His clerks, his august position, the fact that he was a lawyer, yeah, that's just him. What we see is him. All right, final outcome for John Roberts. He still has so many cases in front of the Supreme Court about Trump. Even once no matter how this turns out, he still has all these cases there. And Republicans trying to bring more. And questions about the power of the presidency. At first I thought, is this Trump remaining in power? But that isn't what this is. This isn't saying one way or the other. This is questions about the power of the presidency. And it's huge headaches, ongoing, later, many, many, many headaches about what power does the president have and not have. And it's just going to go on and on and on. But his reputation in the history books is going to be okay. He's not the worst guy in the world. He's not the best. He's yeah, this is his. It's like him in the history books and Republican stuff, but also just handling the things Republicans bring to the court and handing some wins to the Democrats, weighing evidence, the women who are on the court, getting them to go along with some things, but yeah, it's a whole lot of work, and the energy is surprisingly bland. Trump's going to run out of money. Trump's going to run out of money for his defense. And there'll be people volunteering to help him just because they want the feather in their cap. If I was involved with this, that does not necessarily mean they're going to succeed. But people who are young now are going to, and this is messages, but and this is new laws being passed, is what that feels like. But this is people who are young now who are still going to be dealing with issues. Lawyers, kids who are going to grow up and be lawyers, are still going to be dealing with these issues in their career. So that's what I'm getting. But the energy is surprisingly mild and bland. I thought about using the zombie tarot deck, but no, it's the Trump administration. Their energy is that rotted and chaotic and what have you. But this is just certainly compared to that, it's just very beige. So that is what I am getting. I guess I could ask, this power of the presidency, does this mean that Trump will be removed from office or Trump will stay in office? Is that part of what are we getting on that? Roberts is loath to do anything that would be against the will of the voters, but there are good arguments why he should be removed. So many court cases. So many court cases. Impeached. Removed from office. Well, he's oh, good grief, 3 major arcana in a row there. Government, strength, time moving on. Moving and things moving on to the money and the taxes, Trump's taxes and financial dealings. But these are Democrats. This is evidence being, too many voters ignoring actual evidence, but it's a solid case, and it begins and ends with Democratic power. including Mueller. So judgment is what this is about. Insult to injury that this is happening, and Trump's just going to be beside himself. His blood pressure is going to be, 800 over 500. Mueller report, obstruction of justice stuff coming back. The Senate vote to impeach and remove Trump. Does the Senate vote to impeach and remove Trump? Asking him to leave, but huge. This is, as it's coming down to the vote, even though we think it's a foregone conclusion, there's huge outpourings of emotion, and this is outpouring of emotion. This is America, and something joyous happening, that where most of the country is feeling relief. This is disappointment, because it feels like witnesses coming forward who have to come forward who didn't come forward under the House. Going to be impeached by the Senate. His base is still gonna love him, no matter what happens. I'm getting the culmination. The witnesses left all kind of evidence, but his base loves him. But there's even more coming down the pike. It's like they can get through this, but even if the Senate doesn't vote to impeach him, damage is done. And there's so much more coming. This isn't the end of it. And then of course he's always breaking the law anyway, and he's knocked back down to size. One way or the other, he's knocked back down to size, but honestly, it's the money. It's the money that's gonna bring him down. And the Democrats are gonna win big in the next election. Yeah, one side very happy, one side heartbroken. It's not going to stop. That's what I'm getting. It's not even. It's going to. He's going to be impeached in the Senate. It's like it doesn't matter, because there is so much, and there's more coming. It's tilting because there's just the swords and the metaphorical swords in Trump's back. There are so many, and there's so many more coming, and that's all I'm getting. Is his corruption is just so bad. It's just not. It's not definitive. It's not like, okay, well, he got away with it. Or, oh, he's being removed. It's almost like they have to do something because there's so much more coming. That's what I'm getting. I hope that helps you. I'm a little confused by what I'm getting here, but that's roughly what I'm getting. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But certainly there are good days ahead, and I'm not feeling like riots in the streets, and I'm not feeling some very unhappy people. There's some very happy people, some very unhappy people, but this feels more like the next election. Yeah, and the longer this goes on, the more it just grinds the future of the Republicans just grinds them down. But they was their choice. They got into bed with the devil. If they had stuck to their morals, such as they were, back when Trump was running and so many Republicans were against him, including Lindsey Graham, if they had just stuck with that, the Republicans, the party would have a more of a future than it does. Because right now it's not good. All right, so that is what I am getting, and Mr. Chief Justice Bland is going to bland. And the rest of us, oh gosh, yeah, it's a saga. This is the George R.R. Martin of politics. This is just huge. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to my patrons. I am so grateful. But hang in there, because there are good days ahead. There are, see, victory. Good days ahead. New start, new younger members coming into office. Good days ahead. All right, so hang in there. Thank you.